Okay, good morning children. Very good morning. Secondly about the English medium. In previous class, we discussed one important topic. What is the important topic we discussed in day before yesterday class? So from first chapter, what is the first chapter? Transport in plants. In first chapter, we discussed how water absorbed by the roots by two systems, apoplast system and symplast system. About these apoplast system and symplast system diagrams, explanation, everything we discussed in last class. Now today class, same continuation of the first chapter with new topic. The new topic is opening and closing of stomata. But what is the mechanism inside there for opening and closing of stomata? So already you know that each leaf contains tiny microscopic holes. The tiny microscopic holes are called stomatas. These are very useful for exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. These stomatas are very useful for these stomatas are very useful for transpiration. Means the plants lost extra water in the form of water vapor through these stomatas only. So, but what is the mechanism there inside for opening and closing of the stomatas? So, what are the important mechanism or what is important activities are there for opening and closing of the stomatas? So, first, the main immediate cause means reason. The main cause reason for opening and closing of stomata is turgidity of the guard cells. Already you know what are guard cells. Each stomata is protected with one pair of guard cells. So the main principle, the main reason, the main cause for opening and closing of stomata is depend on turgidity of the guard cells. What is that turgidity of the guard cells? Turgidity means swelling of the guard cells. Whenever the guard cells absorb water, it may increase in size, that is called swelling, that is called turgidity. So the main reason for opening and closing of stomata is depend on the turgidity of the guard cells. Turgidity of the guard cells. The immediate cause for opening and closing of stomata is turgidity of the guard cells. Turgidity of the guard cells. Turgidity of the guard cells. Okay, this is one of the important reason. The main this is one of the important reason for opening and closing of stomata, that is turgidity of the guard cells. Turgidity means swelling of the guard cells. By absorbing water, by losing water, guard cells able to change its shape. So that is called turgidity. The immediate cause for opening and closing of stomata is turgidity of the guard cells. Already you know that the inner wall of each guard cell towards the stomatal pore, the inner walls of each guard cells are thick and elastic. The inner walls of each guard cells towards the stomatal pore. The guard cells which are present towards the stomatal pore. So the inner wall of each guard cell which are present towards the pole, the inner walls of the guard cells are thick and elastic. Thick and elastic. Thick and elastic. The inner walls of guard cells are thick and elastic. And the outer walls are very thin. The outer walls of the guard cells are thin. when the turgidity increases, whenever the turgidity increases, whenever water enters into the guard cells, means when the turgidity increases within these two guard cells, the outer wall, the thin outer wall bulges out. Whenever the turgidity increases, the thin outer wall, the thin outer wall bulges out, bulges. The thin outer wall bulges. And what about the inner wall? That forces the inner wall into crescent shape, means half moon shape. Whenever the turgidity increases in the guard cell, the outer wall bulges and forces the inner walls into crescent shape, and the inner walls crescent shape. Okay, whenever the turgidity increases in the guard cells, the outer wall bulges and force the inner walls into crescent shape. And one more thing here you can remind, in the diagram of stomata already we discussed one of the important part. The guard cells of the cell wall, the cell wall of the guard cells having microfibrils. So the microfibrils also very useful in the opening and closing of stomata. The microfibrils also plays an important role in the opening and closing of the stomata. Microfibrils, microfibrils which are present in the walls of guard cells. These microfibrils are also very useful for opening and closing of stomata. So whenever guard cells lost its turgidity, whenever the water lost from the guard cells, whenever the guard cells lost the turgidity, the inner walls and outer walls both are comes to their original shape. The guard cells become flaccid. Flaccid means they are lacking the firmness, and in this situation the stomata are closed. Whenever the water moves outside of the guard cells lost its turgidity. At the time the stomata are closed. So this is the opening and closing of the stomata, mainly depending on the turgidity of the guard cells. Whenever the water enters into the guard cells, its turgidity will increase. That leads to opening of the stomata. Whenever the water comes out of the guard cells, then they can lose their turgidity. Immediately the stomata are closed. And also you can remember the walls. The guard cell is made up of outer wall, inner wall. Outer wall is very thin, inner wall is very thick and elastic. Whenever the water enters into the guard cells, outer wall bulges, inner wall that change into crescent shape, means half moon shape. So in this situation, whenever the water enters into the guard cells, stomata are open. Whenever the water moves out of the guard cells, these walls retain their original shape. These walls comes to their original shape. In this situation, the stomata close. So this is the opening and closing of stomata, mainly based on turgidity of the guard cells. Whenever the water enters inside, whenever the water comes outside, so the stomata are closed and open. So that is mainly depend on the entry or exit of water. So one theory was proposed, one scientist he proposed one theory for opening and closing of stomata. So the scientist named Levitt. So what is the theory? But what are the principles of that theory we are going to discuss now. So on the concept opening and closing of stomata, the scientist Levitt he proposed one theory. That theory is Kepler's, means potassium ions. Kepler's pump theory. Kepler's pump theory. Kepler's pump theory. Kepler's pump theory. This theory was proposed by the scientist Levitt. David he proposed the one theory, that is K plus means potassium ions. K plus means potassium ions. He proposed one theory, that is K plus pump theory. So according to this theory, what is K plus pump theory? With the help of K plus pump theory, we explained opening and closing of photoactive stomata. Already you know stomata are mainly two types. One is photoactive, another one is scotoactive. Photoactive means the stomata which open daytime, that are called photoactive. The stomata which open only night, that are called scotoactive stomata. Especially the scientist Leavitt, he proposed the theory, especially the photoactive stomata, how they can open and close the stomata. So he proposed the particular theory, the theory name K plus pump theory. In this K plus pump theory, he explained what about the stomata in the presence of light. So what is the response of the photoactive stomata in the presence of light? So that theory is K plus pump theory, which was proposed by the scientist Leavitt. So especially in this theory, according to this theory, what will happen in this theory? Accumulation of K plus ions, accumulation of K plus ions into the Golgi cells through subsidiary cells. So before Golgi cells or another cells also there, that are subsidiary cells. So according to this theory, accumulation of K plus ions into Golgi cells, accumulation of K plus ions into Golgi cells through subsidiary cells. Subsidiary cells. Subsidiary cells means these are very near to the Golgi cells. So accumulation of K plus ions into Golgi cells through the subsidiary cells in the presence of light. In the presence of light, K plus ions that can enter into Golgi cells through subsidiary cells. So finally K plus ions are entered into the Golgi cells. So this included, whenever the K plus ions enter into the Golgi cells, this included the efflux means outward movement. Whenever the K plus ions enter into the Golgi cells, this coupled with efflux means move outside. Whenever the K plus ions entering into the Golgi cells, at the same time the protons moves out of the Golgi cells, which coupled with efflux of protons, because of the whenever the protons comes out of the Golgi cells, the pH of the Golgi cells will increase. So whenever K plus ions entering into the Golgi cells, the protons comes out of the Golgi cells. Efflux of protons, whenever the protons comes out of the Golgi cells, the pH of the Golgi cells will increase. The pH of the Golgi cells will increase. So the accumulation of K plus ions also associated with passive influx, means passive entry of chloride ions also. Not only K plus ions, Cl minus ions means chloride ions also that can enter into the Golgi cells with passively. Passive movement means inactive movement. So K plus ions and Cl minus ions both are entered into the Golgi cells. At the time, protons, H plus ions, comes out of the Golgi cells. So whenever K plus ions and Cl minus ions both are entered into the Golgi cells, the water potential of the Golgi cells decreases. Because of these two ions, the water potential in the Golgi cells decreases. So the water which is present outside, that can enter into the Golgi cells. The Golgi cells become turgid, and this leads to opening of stomata. Whenever these two ions, K plus ions and Cl minus ions, whenever these two ions enter into the Golgi cells, Protons comes out of the guard cells because of the entry of K plus ions and Cl minus ions. The water potential in the guard cells decreased. Then the water which is present outside that move into the guard cells. Whenever the water move into the guard cells, its turgidity will increase. Then the stomata will open. So which occurred only in the presence of light. But what happened in the night time? In the night time, K plus ions and Cl minus ions moves out of the water. In the guard cells, the water potential increased. The water which is present in the guard cells that moves out of the guard cells. So in the guard cells there is no water. So at that time the stomata are closed. This is happened in the absence of light. This happened especially in the night time. In the night time, because of the exit of K plus ions, Cl minus ions, the water which is present inside the guard cells that moves out, there is no water inside the guard cells. So because of the absence of water, the stomata are closed. Especially this happened in night time. And one more thing here you can remember, in some extreme conditions also, in some extreme water scarcity conditions, one of the important hormone, abscisic acid. In extreme water scarcity conditions, one of the important hormone, abscisic acid, ABA. Abscisic acid. Abscisic acid. This is called natural transparent agent, which moves K plus ions outside, that leads to closing of stomata. Whenever the extreme water scarcity conditions are there, whenever the water scarcity is more, at that time automatically the stomata are closed with the help of a hormone which is natural anti-transparent hormone, abscisic acid. This abscisic acid remove the K plus ions from the guard cells. At that time stomata are closed. And one more thing here you can remember, especially in succulent plants, especially in desert plants, water potential gradient is established because of the accumulation of organic acids. Especially in desert plants, because of the entry of organic acids, the water potential gradient is developed. The water enters into the guard cells. At that time, the stomata are open, especially in desert cells. Okay, that is in desert cells, especially succulent plants. Succulent plants, they can open the stomata at night time. How it is possible? The succulent plants, especially in the succulent plants, because of the accumulation of organic acids, the organic acids that can enter into the organic acids that can enter into the guard cells. At that time, the water potential is decreased into the guard cells. So water enter into the guard cells. Then stomata are opened in night time, especially in desert plants. So desert plants, they are having photoactive stomata. In desert plants, stomata are open only night time. So they can carry out transpiration process only night time only, desert plants especially. Okay, so this is about the mechanism. This is the theory, K plus pump theory, which was proposed by the scientist Leavitt. So according to his theory, K plus ions, Cl minus ions that can enter into the guard cells, then the water potential is decreases. The outside water enter into the guard cells, that leads to opening of stomatas. So in night time, in the absence of sunlight, the K plus ions, Cl minus ions move out of the guard cells. In that situation, the stomatas are closed. So this is the theory. Okay, for that one diagram is there. Here you can see with the help of the diagram we came to know about the K place pump theory with the help of diagram. You can see that this is the structure of the stomatus. Here you can see this is the stomata opening position. See here, this is the stomata opening position. This is the closing position. You can see here stomata opening position. This is the stomata closing. This is the stomata closing. So with the help of theory you came to know with the help of the theory. This is also stomata open. Here you can see now. How the stomatas are open? K plus ions enter into the guard cells, and also chloride ions also enter into the guard cells. At this time the protons comes out of the guard cells. This leads to opening of the stomatas. Okay. This leads to opening of the stomatas. This leads to opening of the stomatas. How the stomatas are closing here you can see with the help of diagram. Okay. So at the same time K place, whenever the sunlight was not available, whenever the guard cells lost their turgidity, whenever they lost the water, in this situation, here you can see K plus ions moves out of the guard cells, chloride ions also moves out of the guard cells. But in this situation, protons enter into the guard cells. So K plus ions, chloride ions, Cl minus ions both comes out of the guard cells. So inside the guard cells, the water potential is increased. So because of the improvement of water potential, water which is present in the guard cells that comes outside. In this situation, stomatas are closing. So by the help of these diagrams we came to know how the stomatas are opening and how the stomatas are closing. So this is the stomatas are opening position, this is the stomatas closing position. Here you can see that clearly. So this is the inner wall of the stomata, this is the inner wall of guard cell, this is the outer wall of guard cell. Here inner wall, whenever the turgidity increases, outer wall bulges, inner walls forces into crescent shape. Here you can see clearly. Outer wall bulges, inner wall that is converted into crescent shape. Here you can see clearly. Okay. So whenever the guard cells lost its turgidity, whenever the guard cells lost water, same inner wall comes to normal position, outer wall also comes to normal position. That leads to closing of the stomatas. So this is the opening of the stomata, closing of the stomata. This is the K plus pump theory. How the K plus ions, Cl minus ions entering, how the protons are coming outside. So everything we came to know with the help of these diagrams. So this diagram shows the opening and closing of the stomata and also explain the cabless pump theory which was proposed by the scientist Leavitt. So this is the detailed information about the opening and closing of stomata. So next another subtopic. So transpiration and photosynthesis, a compromise. So both are necessary. Transpiration is necessary for photosynthesis. Transpiration having more benefits. But what are the benefits of the transpiration? Transpiration have more than one benefits. But what are the benefits are there from the transpiration? Benefits of the transpiration. So transpiration is very useful for absorption and transport of the minerals, and the transpiration supplies water for photosynthesis. It transport minerals from soil to all parts, and it can create and transport it can create the transpiration pull for absorption and transporting of the materials, and this transpiration cools the leaf surfaces by operative cooling method. It can cool the leaf surfaces up to 10 to 15 degrees centigrade, and it can provide a particular shape structure to the plant by keeping the cell turgid. So these are the 5 benefits there. You can see again. So what are the benefits of the transpiration? So first, it can create a transpiration pull for absorption and transportation. It can create a transpiration pull. It can create a transpiration pull for absorption and transport of materials. For absorption and transport of the materials. Absorption and transport. Second one, it supplies water for photosynthesis. Supplies water for photosynthesis. And it transport nutrients and minerals from soil to all parts. Transport minerals. It transport minerals from soil to all parts. It transport minerals from soil to all parts. And it cools the leaf surfaces. It cools the leaf surface. Up to 10 to 15 degrees by the method of evaporative cooling. Last one, it can maintain size and structure of the plants by keeping the cell turgid. It can maintain particular shape and structure of plant by keeping the plant cells turgid. By keeping the plant cells turgid, it can provide a particular shape and size to the plant. So these are the 5 benefits of the transpiration. So these are the benefits from the transpiration. Okay, these are the benefits from transpiration. So that's why we can say transpiration, photosynthesis, a compromise. So both are necessary. Plants making so much of water, plants lost so much of water by transpiration, but the transpiration is useful for plants in many ways. Through the transpiration, plants lost so much of water, but transpiration benefits the plants in many ways. So that's why the transpiration is called necessary evil. necessary evil. Some effects also there, but benefits also there. So that's why the transpiration is called necessary evil. So transpiration is called water. So we call transpiration necessary evil. Necessary evil. So plants lost so much of water from transpiration, but transpiration is very useful for plants in many ways. What we discussed. So transpiration is called necessary evil. आवश्यकమైన అనర్థం. Necessary evil. Okay. So especially you can see in C4 photosynthesis plants, especially in C4 plants, especially in C4 photosynthesis, especially in C4 plants, the C4 photosynthesis is very useful for maximizing the absorption of carbon dioxide and minimizing the water loss. C4 photosynthesis process is very useful for maximizing the availability of carbon dioxide, minimizing the water loss. So, but what is the difference between C4 plants and C3 plants? C4 plants are twice efficient than C3 plants for fixing the carbon dioxide. C4 plants need only half as much water as C3 plant for fixing the same amount of carbon dioxide. How much water they need for fixing the carbon dioxide? In that half water only need C4 plants. So C4 plants need only half water as compared to C3 plants for fixing same amount of carbon dioxide. And C4 plants are quite efficient than C3 plants. The C4 photosynthetic system is very useful for maximizing the availability of carbon dioxide, minimize the water loss. So these are the differences between C3 photosynthetic system and C4 system, and benefits of the transpiration. So these important topics you can remember. So the and also opening and closing of stomata, K+ pump theory. So these main points you should remember. Okay, in next class we have to discuss the last topic of the first chapter. How the food is transported, and what is source, what is sink, what is unidirectional, what is bidirectional. Everything we have to discuss in next class. Thank you, children.